There we go. Yo! Welcome to a special edition of Simply Bitcoin Live. We are your #1 source for this peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, memetic warfare, culture, all of it. We will be your guide through separation of money and state. Got an awesome panel for us today. My always optimistic co-host, Optimus Fields.
Wow. Hello.
We got the legendary P. He does Bitcoin Magazine Live. Shout out to this dude.
Yeah.
Neil Jacobs, social media guru, and he has this awesome merch shop. Check it out. It's called FOMO21, bro. Adam Meister, this guy is the OG.
The
This
Bitcoin
guy
Meister.
was telling people to buy Bitcoin and the $100, $200, $300, and no one fucking listened. I bet you people are listening now.
I listened.
This guy's a legend. He's a humble legend. Definitely go check him out. And of course, the legendary one and only Surfer Jim. Didn't want to be famous,
What's up?
but got famous anyways. Shamat tried to bully him, and Surfer Jim absolutely wrecked him. So
No,
today,
the community helped.
the community, the Bitcoin community, bro, the plebs.
The greatest community in the world, and it just keeps getting bigger. This is family.
They are the decentralized immune system. Sometimes they eat their own. Anyways,
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes. All right, before I start the show, I want to give a shout out to my awesome partners. Our awesome partner made this show possible. Of course, Swan Bitcoin, best place to stack sats, obviously.
Yes.
Nuddle, if you aren't running your own Bitcoin node by now, you have no idea what you're doing. You run a Bitcoin node. Don't trust someone else's, because if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, that's exactly what you're doing. Also, Kaboom Racks, best place to buy Bitcoin miners. Check out their racks. Bitbox, take Bitcoin into self-custody. You should know this by now. CypherSafe. You should definitely consider putting your Bitcoin seed on metal, because paper sucks, could be eaten, water damage, dog attacks, all that stuff. And of course, Represent LTD. This is the merch that Opti and I are wearing right now.
We shill it. Do we
Yeah,
shill
do
the
it.
merch?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Shill the merch.
Check this
Simply
out.
Bitcoin.
Use the promo code simply-bitcoin. Get a 10% discount.
I think they're
RepresentLTD.com.
dropping live at 6 p.m. today. I think.
Okay, 6 p.m. Anyways,
Shout
guys,
out
so
David.
today I want to take advantage of these awesome panelists that are on here. We're going to talk about the FTX debacle. All right, so just to give you guys in the loop, Sam Bankman-Fried got absolutely fried. He created a token. He used that token as a slush fund, basically. Binance, which is the biggest shitcoin exchange at the moment, held a lot of that token, and CZ smelled weakness, and he dumped that token on the market, and then that just caused this giant clusterfuck, made the Bitcoin price go down. But I don't want to talk about that, because shitcoin exchanges imploding is inevitable. Right? The incentives are not aligned. In fact, it's a continuation of the fiat system that we have today. But if you listen to Bitcoiners, Matt Odell's famous line, if you stayed humble, stacked sats, bought Bitcoin, DCA'd, and took that Bitcoin and put that Bitcoin into self-custody, none of this would have affected you. In fact, when the Chinese Communist Party banned Bitcoin mining, if you weren't on Bitcoin Twitter, or if you weren't listening to the news and you were just had your Bitcoin in self-custody, you would have had no idea this happened. Unfortunately, with this downfall of this exchange, it's given ammunition to the enemies of Bitcoin. Elizabeth Warren already jumped on this. The White House press secretary already mentioned, hey, we need to regulate this thing. This shitcoin exchange collapsing. It's just giving him ammunition. Jacob, you want to play the clip, brother?
Proper oversight, cryptocurrencies, it risks harming everyday Americans. So this is something that clearly we monitor and that we see as an important issue. But the most recent news further underscores these concerns and highlights why prudent regulation of cryptocurrencies is indeed needed. The White House, along with the relevant agencies, will again closely monitor the situation as it develops. cryptocurrencies is indeed needed. The White House, along with the relevant agencies, will again closely monitor the situation as it develops.
So, again, in a way, she's right, because cryptocurrencies do harm everyday Americans. They're centralized. There's a single point of failure. It's a continuation of this fiat enslavement system that we've had for hundreds of years. Only Bitcoin, because it's true decentralization, it's rules without rulers, it's not controlled by a single party, can you actually find true financial sovereignty. And SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, fucking made the party harder for the rest of us. So fuck that guy, but enough about what I'm thinking. Optimus Fields, take it away. What are your thoughts on this, bro? What are your thoughts on the FTX blow up?
Well, first and foremost, I think we tell everyone every single day on Simply Bitcoin to take Bitcoin into self-custody. Do not leave Bitcoin on exchanges. And this is exactly why we tell you guys, because we all know these shitcoin casinos are going to blow up sooner than later. And it's just amazing to watch this happen. If you're a Bitcoiner, you're just stacking sats, the price is cheap, and your Bitcoin is safe in cold storage. So we tell you guys every single day, take your Bitcoin into cold storage, make sure you're running a node, make sure you're verifying your Bitcoin for yourself, because this wouldn't affect you. You get cheap Bitcoin, and you get to watch all the fireworks. Like, this is why we are toxic Bitcoiners, is because we try to help people to avoid these mistakes, and they don't listen. And so we get more toxic and toxic because we just want to tell you one simple thing. Take your Bitcoin into cold storage and go live your life. I say it all the time. Provide value, take your Bitcoin into cold storage, and this is all you have to do. And you get to see these people freak out. You get to see these shitcoin exchanges blow up. And it's a very simple message. Take Bitcoin into cold storage, and none of this affects you. And you can come and have fun with your friends over here at the Pacific Bitcoin Conference. Enjoy the good times and talk about Bitcoin, and realize if your Bitcoin is in cold storage, none of this affects you. You get cheap sats, and we just stay winning. Bitcoin incentives stay winning if you know what to do, which is take Bitcoin into cold storage.
Amen to that, brother. Give me some of that tequila. Anyways, so that being said, they beat us up for it. Alex Mashinsky, also another shitcoin exchange that just fucking blew up. He said, quote, "The toxic Bitcoin maxis are convincing people to take self-custody of their Bitcoin. Fast forward 6 months later, their exchange blows up, and anybody that kept their custody on that exchange got absolutely wrecked." So Bitcoin toxicity, it's a feature, not a bug. It's actually saved a tremendous amount of people money. And in my opinion, one of the most effective Bitcoiners using this is Corey Clipson. Corey Clipson saved hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, a lot of money, warning these people about what these shitcoin exchanges actually are. Anyways, passing it on to B. He's a fucking legend. He's the host of Bitcoin Magazine Live. He does it with the legendary Q, who's also in the audience right now. What's up, dude? P, take it away, bro.
So the question is basically, what do I think about this experience, about Sam Bankman-Fried? How should I do this?
However, which way you want. I totally have no idea what's going on.
Well, you look fucking fantastic for it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've said this a couple times, but I feel like, when they turned on the Large Hadron Collider, CERN, there was all these people that were like, oh my God, maybe the sun will turn inside out. Maybe we'll get sucked into a black hole and we'll enter into an alternate dimension. Like, fucked. And everybody was like, that's absolutely insane. Shut the fuck up. I feel like that is now where we are. This timeline is one that I could not have possibly predicted in my wildest imagination. The speed with which we've gone from SBF being this magical golden boy, which, by the way, he got by just buying everybody out, right? He just was pumping and blasting money in the Democratic Party and all over the place, and he was raised up on this pedestal, and as we love to say, like, slay your fucking heroes because they will betray you otherwise. It just blows my mind to go from that world to, CZ dunking on him, and then just this cascade and all the shit that's coming out. Again, I agree with everything that you both said. Nothing could be more important. It could not be more important now to be encouraging people to custody their own coins as they are ready and able to. Like, educate yourselves, learn what that means, and learn from the experience of seeing these people get utterly wrecked. These are people who, again, were put on these massive pedestals. To see them just go from being these, incredible bastions of light and hope to complete pariahs, where the White House is basically bashing on them publicly, that should instill in you a deep sense of the need for to develop your own compass on this kind of stuff. As you said, we are here. We spend our entire lives just doing everything we can to educate as rapidly as we can, and it has never been more important. We're heading into this unprecedented macroeconomic environment, and Bitcoin is the only way that we can build a lifeboat together and escape from the financial apartheid that is being pressed down upon us.
Amen to that.
Bars.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Wait, Nico, before you go on, what's your famous meme that I always play all the time?
Oh man,
I think it's fitting for
man.
you to say it right now. The whole saying.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
All right. If you're against Bitcoin toxicity, you're against Bitcoin, and if you're against Bitcoin, you're against fucking freedom, and that's the reality. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Remember, guys, here's the thing. Right? People are chasing, yields, or chasing all this stuff. First time in human history, the average Joe, just by being able to memorize a 12-word seed phrase, could theoretically store millions, billions, theoretically trillions of dollars in their mind. You could store your wealth effectively. Not only that, you could send that money anywhere across the planet. You don't even need to know the person's name. Why are people still trusting and relying on third parties, on custodians? You deserve to get wrecked. And you know what's really upsetting about this is that they got Tom Brady, they got the celebrity endorsements, they got the Miami Heat arena to go from the American Airlines arena. I apologize because I'm from Miami. It's Francis Suarez. What's going on, bro? And they changed it to the FTX arena. Soon, I guess it's going to be called the Wrecked Arena. I don't fucking know. But yeah, no, absolutely disgusting. And the entire time, Bitcoiners have been screaming from the rooftops, yo, stay humble, stack sats, take that Bitcoin into self-custody. But no one listens. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to the one, the only, Neil Jacobs. This guy is a fucking social media guru. He's a fucking monster. Neil, I'm very glad that you're up here with us today, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm not sure I could add too much. You talked about toxicity, and I feel like our opponents, our enemies, it's very loosely defined by them, and people see it as being mean-spirited. But the way I think we mean it is having passion and wanting truth. And, our opponents weaponize that word against us, and I really think it's just truth and passion and wanting to see a better world. That's really what it is. I don't know if you remember, P, on Clubhouse over a year ago, we had Alex Mashinsky just like randomly come on stage. I see Shelly in the audience. She was there. There were a bunch of Clubhouse people there, and he wouldn't answer basic questions. And it's because all of these things, they're built on quicksand. They're all a house of cards, and it doesn't take a lot for them to come tumbling down. And I know you said something like, SBF was this big figure, right? Like it was a few weeks ago, a month ago, he was on maybe Fortune magazine, the next Warren Buffett, right? And now the whole thing's gone because there's no foundation. And we all know that Bitcoin has the foundation. And I'm going to repeat something if you were here earlier for the earlier panel I was on. I'm repeating the same thing, but I'm paraphrasing Saifedean. Bitcoin maximalists have told you about Luna, about 3 Hours Capital, about Celsius, and now they're telling you about other shitcoins and Ethereum. And they were right about Luna, 3 Hours, all these things. And all the people who are wrong about 3 Hours Capital, Luna, and Celsius are telling you to buy these shitcoins and buy Ethereum. Like, what is wrong with you? There's such this cognitive dissonance among people. They're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, and they think that the shitcoins and Bitcoin are equivalent, but we know that Bitcoin is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes a long time to develop conviction and understanding where you can hodl through these tough times, going from 69,000 down to 17,000, and I've experienced 20,000 down to 3,000 and 1,200 down to 300. It's not easy. And yeah, that's really what I have to say.
Amen to that. Speaking of conviction, this guy, Simply Bitcoin's it's a pretty young channel. This guy right here, this is the original Bitcoin content creator. This man's a legend. And you should definitely, if you guys don't mind, give this man a round of applause.
And if you're watching this, pound that like button.
Strong hands.
Strong hands. Strong hands.
Well, I gotta say, yeah, exactly a year ago, it was $69,000 on this very day. And yeah, I've got conviction. It's lower now, whatever. I got more Bitcoin than I did then. I mean, I value my wealth in Bitcoin. That's the way you got to think about it. Yeah. Also, with what's happened this week, it doesn't really come as a big shock to me. I mean, the big third parties, I've always predicted huge ones are going to fall down. And, it's similar to what happened in June. It's just like history keeps repeating itself because the normies out there, they trust third parties. They trust intermediaries. They want yield. And that's just not going to stop. I mean, we can't change the world. We can't change normies per se. We can just try to spread the word, but practice what you preach, and that's what I've been doing. I think that's a lesson from all this. If you have been practicing what you've been preaching here in the hardcore and Bitcoin community, then this is just all a show to you, and you're just like wondering, like, why are so many people invested in this still, that every time it happens, the price of Bitcoin also goes down? I mean, they should not be related. Nothing has changed with Bitcoin. Now, another thing that comes out of this that is we should really all take seriously. We heard a clip from the crypto mommy there who's really trying to build her brand on, taking care of all the innocent people so they're not taken advantage by these evil Bitcoin people and, conflating Bitcoin and crypto, whatever she's going to do. This is Elizabeth Warren. And I just, some of you are like, oh, she's just a senator. It's not just a senator. I mean, she is a senator in the majority party. There's still the majority party in the Senate up until, it changes, and people thought it was going to change. And something you need to consider with the health of the current president and what can happen in 2024 and the health of the opposition party is that she could become the president of the United States in 2024. So that's just her comments should remind you, and she is the worst case scenario of anyone I can think of to become the president of the United States in 2024, because her main target of do-gooding, of feel-good, will be Bitcoin. She'll point to something like this that happened. Like, oh, that mean rich guy in Miami or wherever that owns has his name on the arena. Look how powerful he got. And then he just ripped all of these poor innocent people. So just keep that in mind. Always be vigilant, people. And no, this will happen again. And she will use it as an example against Bitcoin and just to call for ridiculous regulation and just fight the regulation, people. Separation of state and money.
Absolutely. And I think Adam hit the nail on the head, right? The fact is that if we don't separate money from state, the incentives will never align between politicians and the people. The fact is that because government has a monopoly on the creation of money, they're not incentivized to serve the people. They're incentivized to protect their moat. They're incentivized to protect the money printing machine. And they're also the people that are responsible, right, are tasked with regulating the industry that, if we are successful, defeats their entire existence in a way. Bitcoin makes politics irrelevant. Max Kaiser has that amazing quote, right? Because I'm in Bitcoin, I don't have to care about politics. Anyways, Jim, I know you feel strongly about this subject, man. During the pandemic, you were a rebel, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of government. Anybody who's ever heard me speak. Unfortunately, we've all lived in a world where some people get to control the money we're forced to use. And because they can control the money, they can pay anybody they need to uphold any narrative they need upheld. And some of those people go into private business, investment. They know what they're doing. They invest in these scams that we all point out. But the money keeps flowing because they print it out of thin air. And they're fighting against the one thing that will destroy that. But they make that money in doing it. And then they can buy some of the Bitcoin that they know has the real value. So until they're disenfranchised, until the people who control money no longer control the money, we're going to keep seeing this kind of stuff. These guys all said it. This isn't the last we've seen of some big, giant, scammy pump and dump, because there's a lot of fiat money floating around there in the world, because a handful of people on this planet control the issuance and creation of money. And they force us to use it because they pay enforcers to make us use it. All the people with guns in the world pointed at us, telling us to stay in line, are doing that because there's an endless stream of money that they get to pay their bills with. When there's a limited supply of money, that ability to keep paying people goes away. And all this fake narrative that keeps getting paid for also goes away. So in a Bitcoin world, we won't see this kind of stuff, but we are going to go through a transition period where it's going to be a little rough, because they're going to fight really hard not to let go of that control. So we're up here spreading the word. Fiat monetary system's broken. Bitcoin is the money of the future, and we need to get the word out and tell everybody. So that's why I'm here.
Amen. Amen. Guys, remember, this is the separation of money and state. And if enough people take Bitcoin into self-custody, which is why we emphasize so much that this FTX debacle is such a distraction, we win, and there's absolutely nothing they could do about it. Anyways, thank you for tuning in to another special edition of Simply Bitcoin Live. We are live from Pacific Bitcoin in the Swan Dome. Everybody who's watching, we love you all.
Yo,
big thanks to our panelists.
Don't shitcoin, it's bad for you.
Don't shitcoin, it's bad for you. Big shout out to our partners as well. NODL, Swan Bitcoin, Kaboom Racks, Bitbox, CypherSafe represent. We would not be able to do the show without you. We love you all. Tune in Monday for a regular show. Peace out, everybody.
Yo.
Pound that like button.
Right.